Hey guys, in this lesson, I'm going to cover AWS Global Accelerator. So let's have a look using a diagram at what Global Accelerator is and how it actually works. So here we have US East 1 and EU West 1. And within each of those regions, we've deployed a load balancer. And the load balancer then has the application sitting behind it. Now, what we want to do here is we want to direct users who are going to connect to this application from around the world to the optimal endpoint. And we want to be able to improve the latency and networking to the actual application from wherever they are. So how do we do that? Well, Global Accelerator can leverage the CloudFront network of points of presence around the world. So here, let's say we have some users in the US and they try to resolve dctlabs.com. Let's just say that's the DNS name for this application. And Route 53 is going to respond with an answer. Now, this answer is 2 IP addresses, which are IPs that are going to resolve to the application. We'll talk more about those in a moment. Now, what happens at this point is the users are going to be routed to the closest edge locations. So you're familiar with edge locations. They're associated with CloudFront. Those are the points of presence around the world. There are many edge locations. I think there are hundreds of edge locations around the world. So the idea is that we get the users off the internet as soon as possible. So the shortest distance to get them from the internet, where we cannot control the bandwidth and the latency, to the edge location where it now is within the AWS global network. And now there is control over latency and there is control over bandwidth. So the users are routed to an edge location that's close to them in the United States. Then they can connect to Global Accelerator, which is sitting behind the edge location. Now, the addresses are what we call Anycast IP addresses. You might be familiar with the different types of IP address. We have, for example, unicast addresses, which is simply an IP address that corresponds to one physical server via the MAC address at layer 2. We have multicast, which can address many servers. And this means an Anycast address is essentially one that can resolve to different hardware. So it can resolve to different routers around the world to optimize the actual network path to reach whatever the endpoint is. Now, once users have ingressed via the edge location and Global Accelerator, they're now on the global network, which means that we now have a very low latency, high network throughput network that's managed by AWS. So we want to, again, shorten that distance on the internet because we can't control the internet speeds and the latency. It can vary quite a lot. We want to get them onto the global network as soon as possible. That happens via the edge location. So now the users are routed using the global network through to the different regions. So traffic is traversing the AWS global network. And the optimal pathway for this particular user in the US would be US East 1, because that's closer than EU West 1. Now, if for some reason that pathway went down, so there was a regional outage or an application outage, then the request would be routed to the next best endpoint, which in this case would be EU West 1. So that's how Global Accelerator works. So users can be directed to the optimal endpoint and then rerouted to the next best endpoint if there's a failure scenario of the primary endpoint. And we're using the edge locations around the world to optimize network connectivity via the AWS global network. Now let's cover a few features of Global Accelerator. At the network layer, it operates at layer 4 of the OSI model. It uses static IP addresses as a fixed entry point to your applications. Those are those Anycast IP addresses. From a performance perspective, again, we're improving performance by leveraging the AWS global network. So we don't have to rely on the internet, which we don't control, and we're not sure of what the latency is going to be like, and it can vary quite a lot. It uses health checks, so it will use health checks to automatically reroute traffic if an optimal endpoint becomes unhealthy. From a protocol perspective, it supports TCP and UDP traffic, making it suitable for lots of different types of application. That's an important point. Remember that CloudFront only uses HTTP and HTTPS. So for example, you cannot use CloudFront for an application that runs on a custom TCP port or a UDP port. You can with Global Accelerator. CloudFront will only support HTTP, HTTPS, so port 80 and port 443, and that's it. So now we get to leverage the CloudFront network, but It's not a caching service, it's directing straight to the actual endpoint, and it's given us the ability to use different types of ports of a variety of applications. So use cases here, it's ideal for non-HTTP use cases such as gaming, UDP traffic, IoT, Internet of Things, voice over IP, VoIP, or for services where having a static IP address is beneficial. However, you can use it for HTTP as well.